Hey guys, welcome back at Sixgun with another video about mod usage. This time talking about the ACRE radio mod for Arma 3. I've been using this for about 1.5 years since I've been with Task Force Viper. Before that I used the Task Force Arrowhead radio mod that is also very good, but operates a little bit differently on a little bit different principles. In some ways, ACRE is much more realistic to real simplex radios. So let's talk about how we set it up in our unit. So one of the things we had to do was make sure we had long-range radios on our person. So if you look at my backpack, I've got a pair of PRC 117 radios already on my person. Sometimes I'll have a 152. I don't have one here. But this gives us good, solid, long-range communication, whether we're in the air or on the ground, without interruption. So, for example, if we have to go back to base to rearm, refit, or if we're still on the deck and we're finding out what's going on, or we get a long-range request from somebody, we don't have to be in the aircraft to respond. So that's a good idea. Now, in Task Force Radio, let me get this guy out of the way. You want to self-interact and go to radios. And here are the two radios, and it shows that they're set up on different channels. The cool thing about ACRE is that you can have up to 3 bindable push-to-talk keys. So again, I'm using my Warthog throttle with a 5-way hat switch under the thumb, and I've got the hat up set to TeamSpeak, hat forward set to push-to-talk, hat back, and hat down all set to push-to-talk. So I can operate up to 3 radios this way. So this radio is set to push-to-talk 1, this one's set to push-to-talk 2, and then some things you can do when you set the radio as active, and then you can also open the radio, and I'm always bad at this. I gotta land it right on that little white dot. Boom, and there's the radio. And then you can change channels, you can change volume. I don't think you can change the ear you hear it in, but there's a keyboard shortcut, Shift Control Left or Shift Control Right. It's not displaying on the screen. The easiest way to do it is once you key the mic on a given radio, that becomes the active radio, and you can bind a button or a switch to display the radio in front of you. So I don't have to do any self-interact, especially when I'm in the air, if I have to change channels. Then I have the radio up here. I can change channels, go wherever I want to go, and then close it. And then I can key the other mic on the other radio, hit that button, that radio's up, and I can start changing channels and doing stuff there too. So that's really, really cool. And again, when you're in the air and you've got your hands full of helicopter, you don't want to spend a lot of time with a big radio in your face when you can't see where you're flying, right? That's the idea. So when we're carrying radios on our person, that's the way we do it. A big part of it is obviously putting one radio in one ear and one radio in the other. Excuse me. Which enhances situational awareness, because when you hear somebody in your right ear, you already know without looking what frequency they should be on. And you should already have a binded push-to-talk to respond to comms you hear in that particular ear. So you maintain really high situational awareness that way. So that's great. However, there's even more functionality if you use aircraft radios, which in this mod are called racks. So if I interact with the aircraft, there are 2 racks, and they're both VRC 103s. And I'm just going to use all. And notice up in the upper left corner, dash, dash. Watch this. Boom. And this shows that I have both aircraft radios activated. Now, the big thing I need to do is set my push-to-talk keys. So here are the VRC 103s. So this first one I'm going to set to push-to-talk 1. And then the other aircraft radio I'm setting to push-to-talk 2. Now I can bind them and open them up and change channels, but also with the racks I can change the channels without even opening the radio, which is really cool. So I'm going to press this key, making that the active radio, and now I can just change the channel with a bound key on one of my peripherals, which is really cool. And this is not interrupting flying. I can do this in the air. In fact, let me fire this guy up. Let me make sure I've got a good view behind me. Although that's kind of weird. There we go. Let's get up in the air. So I've got a handful of helicopter, and I'm talking to a JTAC, or I'm talking to a CCT, or I'm talking to the ground unit commander, and they, you know, out of this radio is going to be my primary air-to-air frequency, let's say. This radio is going to be contacting stations on the ground. So I'm on Fires 2, and then they're asking me, let's move you to Fires 1. So all I have to do, boom, and then check in Thunder 2-1 with you on Fires 1. So that's really slick. I don't have to worry about bringing this radio up in front of my face. And if you notice, you see my vertical speed just drop. As long as you have anything up in your face, as you Arma pilots all know, you start losing altitude immediately because you lose aircraft input. Now bear in mind, we do have a mod that prevents that from happening. The excellent Cockpit Resource Management mod by Watt. Let me give you a link right here. Allows you to have a altitude hold feature. Let me enable the altitude hold feature and watch my vertical speed lock to 0. Now my altitude is under control, and I can bring the radio up. I can bring full screen C-tab up, and even if I have to answer a text message, you know, go here, blah 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 blah, text message, and I don't have to worry about crashing into a mountainside that way. So that's really cool. So in an operational environment, the first thing we're going to do is bind the push to talk, set the channel, and then set the ear, right ear, then the other mic to the other radio, set the channel. Let's say fire. I'm going to go to the JSOC channel, which is Joint Special Operations Aviation Control, and I'm going to put that in my left ear. That's in my left ear. That's in my right ear. Now, if I want to change volume, I do have to bring the radio up. Let me bring the radio up. There we go. And you can hear when you key the mic what your volume is going to be. Actually, I like this one a little lower. So I hope that gives you some really cool strategies for how to use this really cool communications mod in aircraft in Arma 3. The whole goal is to give you all the functionality you need to be able to communicate on multiple radios and multiple frequencies in an obvious dynamic environment, and maintain high situational awareness, maintain your hands on the controls. Those of you who have HOTAS or joysticks, this is going to be really important for you, because if you've flown in Arma long enough, you know that once something happens, something goes wrong, and you lose control of the aircraft, it's going to find a piece of hill or ground or a tree to crash into, you know, such is the way of Arma. So after using this mod for about 1.5 years, I gotta say I like it better than Task Force Arrowhead. TFAR has one radio on which you can transmit 2 different frequencies. It has a primary and an alternate frequency, which is not how radios work. You know, a simplex radio has one frequency you transmit and you receive on that frequency unless you tune it to another one. And it makes sense to have multiple radios in an aircraft. And I have, this aircraft only has 2 radios available, by the way. So if I'm taking one radio and my co-pilot is on another, I only have one that I can use, right? That's another reason that we always carry radios in our backpack. So while I'm using the aircraft radios, I can bind my third push-to-talk to one of my backpack radios, bring that up, and set that to a command, like a command frequency. And then I'll turn the volume down. Maybe I just want to monitor comms on that frequency. So my left ear, you know, CCT, talking to CCT or JTAC on the ground in my left, and then command. Let's see if I can press that correctly. Boop. Command in the center. I don't know if that's in the center. There we go. Yeah, you hear it. So there you go. That's ACRE for Arma. Enjoy. Thank you. We'll see you next time.